This accumulator betting strategy actually works, and I'm going to prove it to you. I've been betting professionally for over 15 years, so in this video I'll break everything down so that anyone can understand clearly. You'll see it for yourself because I'll walk you through two real examples that anyone can understand, and trust me, the second one might shock you. Although there is one warning here. This video may get a little bit nerdy in places. If you use this betting strategy consistently, the bookmakers notice, and that's when the account restrictions and bans come in. Honestly, it's the best proof that it works, as you'll see in just a moment. So let's begin with a little context to make this simple for everyone to understand. Generally speaking, accumulator bets in football are usually a horrific proposition, and here's why. Every leg that you add into an accas multiplies the bookmaker's margin against you. Now, one bet, that's usually bad enough. However, stacking 3 or 4 or even 5 on top of each other compounds their advantage until it's practically impossible to win over the longer term. This is exactly why betting brands like Bet365, William Hill and Unibet love them. They promote them everywhere because, like the lottery, most punters think of them as a shot at fast, life-changing money, when in reality, it's the bookies stacking the profits at pace. The maths makes it so. Now, the strategy that we're about to break down here turns that logic on its head with a few simple rules. There's no way the bookies can stop it, but first, an example to make my point. By the way, if you want to see more videos exposing bookies' tricks, do me a favour and smash the like button. It tells me to make more of these. Okay, so let's put this into practice with a real football accumulator example. For the first example, I've randomly picked a simple 3-leg football accas on the EFL via Betfair's sportsbook. For those unaware, that's the bookmaker side of their website. Here are the legs. Wolves to win at 2.8, Lincoln to win at 12.0, and Reading to win at 5.0. So on Betfair's sportsbook, that threefold returns £1,680 from a £10 stake, which looks decent, right? Well, presuming your account's not restricted to 85 pence like mine anyway. You'll see why that is in just a moment, but let's stop for a second and break it down further. Every price hides a probability. For example, decimal odds of 2.8 imply a 35.7% chance, odds of 12.0 imply an 8.3% chance, and odds of 5.0 imply a 20% chance. So overall, the odds of Betfair's sportsbook are saying that this accumulator holds a 0.6% chance of actually happening. Now, in plain English, that means they're saying that this bet should land roughly 1 in 167 times. So now let's talk about the real chance of this treble actually coming in, because this is where things get interesting. For those who aren't familiar, Betfair also has a betting exchange where customers can simply bet against each other at fair market value. Now, on Betfair's exchange, those same bets are priced slightly higher. Wolves are at 3.25, Lincoln are at 17.5 and Reading at 5.7. When you crunch the numbers, the implied probability is only 0.3% for the total accumulator. So the free market is basically saying this bet is likely to land once every 324 times. So what's happening here? The bet itself doesn't change, but the way it's priced completely changes its value. On the sportsbook, you're getting almost half the payout compared to the exchange, even though the risk is exactly the same. And that right there is the hidden tax on accumulators via sportsbooks. A £10 stake landed at exchange prices would return £3,242 instead of £1,680. That's £1,562 more on the exact same bet, just by choosing where you place it. Now, I should also add that 1,500 quid is the sportsbook's real value margin. Crazy. But there's another problem, and here it is. Even though the exchange prices are better, when we crunch the probabilities together, the expected value of this accumulator is still negative. Why? Because around more popular leagues and events, the exchange odds are extremely accurate. Bookies have all the data, staff, models and algorithms. It's rare to find consistent mistakes in those odds that last very long. Plus, we haven't factored in the 2 to 5% commission that's deducted from a winning bet on Betfair's exchange. So although this example is close to the bet's implied probability, it's still a losing strategy. And that's exactly my point. This shows why most accumulators fail. The maths simply isn't in your favour unless the odds are mispriced. And I know what you're thinking. How do you actually spot those mispriced odds? Well, hold that thought, because our answer ties directly into the strategy rules that I'm about to show you, and we'll come to that in a moment. Now, to win long term, the odds must be in our favour. No ifs or buts. But don't lose hope, because I'm now going to outline some simple rules and share an example that shows you how to flip the entire situation around. This is where the strategy gets powerful. Alright, so if accas are usually horrific for punters, how can there possibly be a strategy that actually works? Now, if you haven't realised yet, accumulators themselves aren't the problem here. The real problem is the bad odds on the accumulator. If you stack good odds, the acca suddenly becomes profitable and your advantage is multiplied. This is what professionals call plus EV betting. Now, don't let that jargon put you off. It just means positive expected value. In plain English, it means that the odds you're betting at are bigger than the true chance of it actually happening. That's all. If a coin flip is truly 50-50, but someone offers you odds of 60-40, you take that bet every single time, because long term, you'll win. So the takeaway here is that finding mispriced odds is the game. Every professional gambler knows it. Now, here's how we apply this accumulator betting strategy. Instead of blindly throwing in teams for a long shot payout, we stick to 4 basic rules. I'll put these on the screen as a checklist. Rule 1, only combine plus EV singles. If a price isn't good value on its own, it's dead weight in your accumulator and doesn't belong there. Rule 2, keep it to 2, 3, or maybe 4 legs maximum. Anything more and the variance just goes through the roof and you'll need to place thousands of bets to get a winner. Rule 3, ladder singles where you can. That means placing each leg individually, so even if one part goes wrong, you don't lose everything. It just makes sense. Now, obviously, these rules only matter if you're picking bets with value in the first place, and that's the golden question. Where do you actually find value? I'll give you a clue in a minute, but first, only use boosts from the bookmakers when they actually flip an acca into positive value. Bookies hand these out to encourage you to bet more, but if you're smart, you can use them to tip the odds in your favour. Now, follow these simple rules and an accumulator stops being a mug's bet. In fact, it becomes quite the opposite. And to show you exactly how it works in practice, let's go on to another example, one where the odds are significantly in our favour. Alright, now for this second accumulator example, I'm showing you an example with Bet365's prices. I'll explain how you can get value prices like this and why it works as we go, because there's a few subtle but important things that are going on here which will probably be missed by the broader audience. Now, if we create a 3-leg acca with the following legs: Medina 17-10, which is 2.0 in decimal odds, indicating a probability of 37%. The draw on the Monza match at 13-5, which is 3.60 in decimal odds, indicating a probability of 27.8%. Suditrol at 13-8, which is 2.625 in decimal odds, indicating a probability of 38.1%. Now, on Bet365's sportsbook, a £100 stake would return around £2,551 for this bet. But here's the key. This means that the accumulator's expected probability is 3.9%. But let's check that on the free market. Betfair's exchange at kickoff. The same 3 singles there are priced at Medina 2.66, Monza draw at 3.1 and Suditrol at 2.5. This means that the best gauge of true value at the most accurate time, kickoff, puts the accumulator's combined probability at 4.9%. So the accumulator on Bet365 is not just a punt, it's mathematically in our favour. Now, if we multiply the exchange prices together, the laddered return is £2,061.50, almost £490 less than the same multiple on Bet365 Sportsbook. That additional £490 payout is our profit margin. But why these selections? And why is this accumulator example overpriced? These are the most important questions, and the answer is simple. But before I explain, if you're finding this valuable, please stop just to drop a like on this video so others benefit too. Now, the bets on that final accumulator there are on Serie B, a lower quality league with significantly lower betting volumes and less public information that's accurate at least. And also the prices were earlier in the morning. So in layman's terms, they were some of the most vulnerable betting prices at their weakest point when Bet365 had them incorrectly priced. It's the total opposite of the first example, if you remember, where 3 EFL matches were at kickoff. And that's why this accumulator betting strategy works. Some accas will lose, yes, and others will win. But across enough bets, if you're always taking odds are bigger than the bet's true chance, or using a boost to tip them into that sector, then you come out ahead. The edge belongs to you, not the bookmaker. Now, spotting these value bets is the tricky part, and I've got a full video coming on exactly how to do that, so make sure you hit subscribe and you don't miss it. In the meantime, check out this video here on my under-over betting strategy in the past. I'll walk you through the exact process in real markets, so click here to watch it now.